All right. Good morning. It's the coffee run. It is House Edge Live. It is John in the morning. Here we are. Look at this. We got our microphone working, with the door closed. Got everything set up right. Happy Monday, everybody. It was a good sports weekend for me. I gotta start off by crowing a little bit. We had I'm a huge baseball fan, obviously, right? Big football fan. The Mariners did it, right? How about the Mariners, right? Ian. So Ian got to be there, which is pretty cool. You were there for the clinch, for the 15 inning. The battle in Seattle, Rick Riz called it, right? That was a hell of a game. We were actually down in Oregon. We were down. We went. My son, not Oregon. We're down in Hood Canal. My son turned 27 over the weekend, so we went down there and kind of hung out with him and his girlfriend, and we watched the game together. And I'm like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, this is gonna sound so stupid, but it's like, I I told him, like, this is one of those weird things where it's like it happens to be your birthday. We happen to be on vacation at an Airbnb. We happen to be partying it up. And that was the night they won the 15 inning game, right? We all have that kind of weird memory of like some goofy sports shit that happened and like who you watched it with. I said, Zach, when you're 50, you'll be like, I remember that 15 inning game when the Mariners finally clinched it. We were there all at the Hood Canal. This is a good memory. So that was an awesome night. And of course, the Hawks yesterday tore it up, and then the Mariners last night. Nobody gave them a chance. My wife and I were so pissed last night. Ian, I don't know how you felt watching that game, but like, could those announcers have been any more, blowing the Blue Jays all night long? I mean, the pregame, the whole game, it was like, we had no business even being there, and that game wasn't even close. It was never close. Even after the first home run, it was never close. And I think that's going to be the way that the series goes for us. I think it's going to be like, once the pitchers lock in, boy, forget about it. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Other stuff. I didn't gamble on the games. Can't gamble here in Washington. Although I do have to do some research for you. I don't know about you all, but on my phone, I have obviously lots of investment apps that we all invest in. But now you can bet on sports through your investment app, and I've got to do some research on how that works. I don't want to talk about it on the show until I start doing it more, and really understand how that market works. It's called like the futures sports market, whatever the hell it is. And you can actually do sports betting now through your investment app versus DraftKings or some other sports betting app anywhere in the country. So I've got to actually figure out like the legalities of it and how it plays out, and then I'll start talking about it some, because I can do some sports betting things now with access to that. So it's relatively new, and it's kind of like right now, but anyway, I'll get into that more later on. So hopefully that'll be some different stuff to talk about. Today what I want to do is talk about Blackjack, though. So we're going to go through Blackjack, and I'm actually on the wrong, what am I here? I'm on the wrong screen. I want to be here. We're going to do a little bit of Blackjack play today, and I'll walk you through kind of the basics of, not basic strategy, but I want to just walk you through, like, I talk so much about craps and the bridge and all this stuff, right? We get all spun out about the house edge and all these things. I think that the concepts we talk about work in any game. I really do. The nice thing about Blackjack and Baccarat is that there's no mystery about where your bet goes, unlike craps or roulette. You just put your bet out there and you either win it or you lose it, right? It's very simple in terms of that. Basic strategy, when you see the cards, are very simple to play, right? All comes down to bankroll, risk, discipline, goals. That's the entirety of the game, right? Where people lose their ass in Blackjack and Baccarat is they don't, A, know when to stop, B, don't have the discipline to get it done, and C, don't think about goals. It's just a whole different mindset at those games. So we're going to play today in what I think is a really simple way. And I'm going to show you sort of like, this is not my entire approach to it, but this is my basic approach to it, which is this. We still do the target series, right? I'm still playing for chaos. When I play Blackjack, my bankroll is my bankroll, and I'm trying to get a 1-3-2-4 or a 1-2-4-8 or some series of bets to win 4 in a row. I'm trying for a 4 in a row run, and if I'm up after the 4-0 run, I go, right? That's the thing. Now today, if I get up, we're going to use leverage budgeteers today and keep on playing at a little bit higher level if we get up, okay? But normally, you hit your target series at any point, you're pretty much going to be ahead and you walk. And I'll show you what the target series looked like here in a second, and we'll kind of explain through that stuff. If we get into a losing streak, we'll start laddering losses. If I lose 2 in a row, I'll jump into a ladder and I'll ladder up and I'll do a little parlay during the ladder time. I'm looking for 2 in a row to get out of it. And that's basically it. Sometimes I'll do a 3-step ladder and try and work down. Otherwise, I'll do a parlay. Just kind of depends on how the shoe's going. In the game you're going to see me play today, which is Nexus Blackjack, the RNG in this game is pretty chaotic. I will tell you that for right now. We have not yet put in our custom RNG. So when we play the game today, you're going to see it. We might lose every hand in the shoe, which happens sometimes. The way that RNGs work in general, there's no such thing as a good random number generator. You all should know this, right, by now. In computer science, random numbers are almost impossible to generate, and they work kind of in a field, if you think of it this way, and they can get into pockets, right? So when you're playing a game like we're going to play Blackjack here today, I refresh it all the time. Like after I go through a shoe, I'll refresh the game and reset the RNG because they tend to get into pockets really quick. We're working on one as a team to kind of mitigate some of that stuff. But for right now, what you're going to see here, you might see me win 10 in a row or lose 10 in a row. It just kind of happens that way. So anyway, here we go. Let's get. I just see this from Randy Hills. That a Patriots football game, and most people are watching on the stadium TV. Isn't that something? Football is a game that's meant for TV. It's not good live. Like football's okay live, but it's not good. It's a made for TV game. It really is so much better on TV than in person, except for the vibe. Hockey is a live game. Hockey sucks on TV. You got to be there live. Like it's funny how that works, right? And baseball is just great no matter what you're doing. All right, here we go. Let's play some Blackjack, and I'm going to go to the table view first here and show you this. Come on, we're going to get here. We'll ignore this for right now, and what I'm going to do is work with you on the betting patterns before I start playing the game. We're going to play a $50 minimum game today, by the way. So our first bet's going to be 2 units, okay? Now, if we win a bet at 2 units, we're going to go to 3 units, okay? 3 $50 units. So it's going to be, we're going to bet 50, win 50, go to 150, okay? If the 150 wins, 1, 2, 3 stacks of $50. If the 150 wins, we're going to go down to 2 stacks of 50. If the 2 stacks of 50 wins, right, we're going to go to 4 stacks and hope for the home run. That's the pattern. We're going to do a 1, 3, 2, 4 on Blackjack and pray to God we have a good run today. That's the entirety of it. Now, if we lose, we're going to ladder up, okay? We're going to go from 50 to 100 to 150 to 200. At some point during this, right, as we ladder ourselves up, if we don't work ourselves down the ladder, we're going to go for a parlay on the first win. And that's how it's going to work. It's very, very simple. Again, this RNG that we're in doesn't always work the best, right? Let's go to this view here and play the game out. So again, the RNG we're playing with is not the best, so it's going to give us some streaks. But what I want to do is show you a little bit about how you can, at some point, level things up as you win. We're going to work on leverage play today. So here we go. With $1,000 bankroll, as you can see up top here. Where's my mouse? Let's get this in front of us. We can see. Move that out of the way. So here we are, $1,000 bankroll. You'll watch my mouse as we go here. I'm sorry about that. It'd be a little annoying, but let's do it. Let's go to a $50 bet and get our deal going here. All right, we're going to go ahead and hit on that. Now watch this game just goes and screws you. Hey, look at that, 18. And we'll stay there. No win. We get torched. This game tends to beat you 1 by 1 number all the freaking time. So back out again at 50. We'll stay where we are, and we'll go ready. There's 14 against 5. We'll stand on that one, and come on, get out of there. Ugh, you're kidding me, right? Okay, now we'll ladder up. We'll go to 150. I'm sorry, we'll go to 100. Let's clear that out. 100. There we go. We'll stay on that. Are you kidding? Oh, there we go. All right, so we got the 1 win. We're back to even again. And again, this is nice. You can see you're back to even. So we can start back over again. There's no reason to keep destroying it, right? When you ladder, get yourself back to base. Now we're going to try for our new chaos. Now, when I talk about the 1, 3, 2, 4, you need 4 in a row. Yeah? We've got 1 in a row right now, but we're behind, right? We got to even. So the question is this to you, right? You have to think about where you are in the rack Right now, we're exactly even. It's like we just walked up to the table. You don't go from that win that we just got to a 3-unit win. You can treat that as your first win and go in for 3, but that puts you behind a little bit. Okay? So you have a choice to make here. And again, every blackjack player, Bach player has a choice to make at this point. When you're even and you got to win to get to even, do you start over at 50 or do you bump in with that 3-unit bet and go to 150 right now and try to get the streak to continue? Okay? You got to make that choice. Now, right now, we've only gotten 1 win since we've been sitting here. I'm not going to make that choice. We're going to go and start over at $50 at a new one, which means if we get our 4 to win, it actually ends up being 5 wins in a row, which is pretty chaotic. Here we go. Ugh. All right, let's hit it. That's not bad. Let's see what happens here. Come on. Woohoo! All right, so we got to win. Right, now we can go from 1 unit to 3 units. So now it's our 150 bet. Again, 3 $50 units. Stay there. Come on. Hit it. Attaboy. So now we got our 3, right? Go back down to 2 units. Again, our units are 50, back down to 2. And if we take that home, by the way, we're at $1,200, right? Notice that your balance up here changes. It's the balance in your rack, not the balance including your bet. So we're at $1,200, which is basically a goal. It's 20% off of the 1,000. Good time, by the way, to walk. If you're good with your chips on the table, right? You're looking at your stacks. You go, hey, it's time to bug out of here, right? That's not a bad time to get it done. We're going to keep playing, okay? Once we get past 1,200, we're going to make a new decision. If we can get past 1,200, we'll make a new decision. All right, let's get it one time. We're going to be at a 2-unit bet. Let's get the series to complete, huh? We will stand on that. Bang. All right, let's get a 4-unit win, right? 1, 3, 2, 4. We got the 1, we got the 2, we got the 3. Let's go 4 units, $200. This is it. Last one. The last chaotic win right here, baby. Come on. Ugh. Ugly. Let's go. Come on, dealer. Get a 10-7 here, huh? 10-7. Look at that. The 1, 3, 2, 4 worked out. $1,500. Now, good time. That's actually 5 in a row because we won that laddered win, right? So this is the miracle, right? When this never happens, they say it never happens. It just happened. But when Ken did this the other way, by the way, Ken did the same thing and didn't win a fucking bet. He played blackjack with the Wizard of Oz simulator for what, an hour or 10, whatever it was. Didn't win a single bet. Sometimes the RNGs will do this for you, right? That's why, again, this is not the greatest simulation, but it's just a good way to get a look at it. So here we are, $1,500. Now, if you're playing for the goal, you should go home, right? You more than got to your goal. There's 2 things we can do here. Now, one thing I'm going to program this game to do, by the way, is, pardon me, my eyes are itching. At this point, the game will know, won for 1,000, won 1,500. My goal was 1,250. My goal was 250, right? It knows that. The game can give you the option to do a couple things. One, lock up 1,250 and only allow you to play with $250, right? That's kind of a help you along your journey. That's a bridge sort of nudge for you, right? It can also say reset your bankroll now and play at a higher level. So we're actually, if you think about it, if you look at the game in $500 units, right? We have 3 $500 units. When we had 2 units, 1,000, 2 $500 units, our bet was 50. Now that we're at 1,500, our bet goes to 75. Right? Once you've achieved a whole nother tier, again, you break 1,000 into $500 chunks. We started with 2 of those. We now have 3 of those, right? Our bet can now be a size 3. We can go for that same series of wins again. We're not going to get it. Of course, you're not going to 12 in a row. But we can go for $75 wins, right? And we'll do $75 a few times. We're not going to go too much below 1,200 here, but I'll give it a few cracks at the higher level because the bankroll supports it. When the bankroll supports a bigger bet, you make a bigger bet. And this is leveraging the wins with what we call a gold tier or a budget tier. Here we go. Let's play it out again. All right. We can split the 3s here, can't we? Let's go ahead and split the 3s. Let's split them up. Boom. Oh, my God. We're going to split them again. Look at this. Wow. A 7, We'll hit the 7, 8 or 18. You know what? We're going to stay there, actually. Let's stand on that one. It's going to yell at me, but I'm going to do it anyway. 13 against the 4. We're going to stand on that. And here we get a 9. I should double that, shouldn't I? Let's double that. All right. Bust, baby. 2 wins, and what happened? So now we're at 1650. So we got a win, a $150 win. That's fantastic. Let's go to a 3-unit bet. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 225. 1, 3. Let's go. 9 against 7. We have to hit that. 17. We'll stand there. They got us. Okay, we'll start over again. Here we go. Again, we're level 3. We'll stand on that, of course, because we won an extra $500. And they bust. There's a 1-unit win. Now we'll go to a 3-unit win. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 1/4 here. And look at our balance, $12.75. We don't get this one, we're out. Okay? We'll go ready. Come on. Oh, God, a 6. Are you kidding me? Ugh, 9. Come on, dude. Give me a nice face card. All right, we'll take that. Hey, we got it. We got the 3-unit win. Now we can go to a 2-unit win. Back down to 2. 3 and 3. 150. Let's have a miracle. No insurance for this guy. Now, this is a bug in the game. The game should be checking for if it has blackjack. It doesn't check for blackjack. It lets you play the hand out, and if it's got blackjack, it screws you in the end. So that's a bug that we have to fix. But anyway, there's the 8. We will hit the 8, of course. There's an 18. We'll stay on that, and he's got blackjack. So that happens in this game. It should have stopped there, as you know. It's a bug. All right, so we got the 1, 3, and we didn't get the 2. We're up to 1575 here. We've increased our bankroll by a little tiny bit. Let's take another crack at it. Maybe this is our last crack. Maybe we'll take this as our sign and stop it at $59 win. 5 and 8's 13 against a 5. We'll let him take the hammer. Good. Now we'll go 3. 2 1/4. Get her done. There's an 8. All right. Let's stand. Come on. Same bet. All right, here we go. 225. Let's go. Ugly, 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 ugly. Give me something small. Oh, look at us. We won our 3 bet. All right, 150. Dr. S is a suggestion. We're going to put a series of buttons down here at the bottom. I think across the bottom. Let me get that out of there so you can see my mouse. Down here on the bottom level, we're going to put some buttons that'll be like repeat bet, up by 1 unit, double the bet, like the convenience buttons will all be there. Also, the game will leave your bet in the circle. The next version leaves your bet in the circle when you win. So your bet is automatically a same bet versus having to redo it every time. So we're making little things like that easier to use. All right, here we go. 150, it's our 2-unit bet, 1, 3. So we got our 3. Let's get a 2. Ugly. We'll let it hit. Come on. They bust. We won our 2-unit bet, which is fantastic. Now we're going to go to 4 units. 1, 2, 3. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. $300. Biff's no insurance. There is. What we've done in the game is we created the games to be able to play with options. So I can set the game as a $50 minimum. Dealer hits on soft 17. Surrender not allowed or allowed. Right? We have all these different toggle switches. Let's say Crapsy has. So this game here is a $50 minimum game, no surrender. So we can create the games with whatever rules you want. There'll be probably 100 different versions of this thing when it's all said and done. Same as Crapsy, effectively. All right, here we go. Let's go already. I'm not sure what happened here. Did I do something wrong? Okay. 9 against the 3. Ooh. Do we double it? Of course we double it. Let's double it. Come on. Come on, bust. Ha! Bang. All right. Look at us go. Wow, we hit the miracle twice today. I played this the other day, and I lost every single hand. All right, so this is a miracle win. We got 26-25 in the rack because of a fantastic freaking double down. Now, if you looked at our rack before in terms of the $500 chunks, and budget tiering up here, right? $500 chunks. We started with 2 of them at $1,000, right? Our first bankroll was $1,000. That's 500 times 2. Our bet was 50. 1/4 per $500 segment that we've got. Now we're at $26.25, which is five $500 units, which means our base bet, if we're going to keep on playing here, should be $125. Right? We're at $26.25. To me, I'll give it one shot. We'll do $125. We're going to leave with $2,500 no matter what today. Right? This is an excess play. We go $125 for a 1-3-2-4 one time. And here we go. If we get it, we get it. If we don't get it, we don't get it, right? We're going to 15 against an 8. We're going to get screwed here probably. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Come on. Woo! Wow. All right. We're going to go to 250. Again, I'm not going to go below the $2,500, so I'm going to go 1, almost 3, and then we'll go 2-4. All right, we'll stay there. Come on, hit it. Ah, lost it. All right, $2,500 is we're out. We're out. Let's go back to the other screen. I'm going to leave it here. That's a 2.5 times win. Right? It's a pretty good win for the day here. And again, I don't put any stock into that because the RNG is the RNG. Let me go back here. I think this is the screen I want. Right, there we go. All right. Actually, that screen. So that worked out okay. Now, again, it's just a video game, right? Ultimately, you're gonna right in the video game. In real life, though, right? Let's think about the approach that we took there, and I think it's important to see this. And I'm going to go down to my table here, and mouse and keyboard will be in the way here. But let's talk about the process that we just went through. And let's say we've got $1,000. I'm going to take this. We had $500, right? There's 2 purple chips. That was our starting bankroll. At 2 purple chips, we bet a quarter for each of them. That was the bet size that I chose, right? Given 1,000, we'll bet $50 or $25 per 500 in the rack. That's our bet size, right? If I had lost $500, my bet size would be 25, 1 for 1. You follow me? So we got here. This is about budget tiering. This is about tiering up your bets or tiering down your bets based on bankroll size. Sometimes that's the smartest thing you can do. Okay. Now we got to here. We did our 1-3-2-4. It was great. We had that. You know, we won that. We dropped $50. We had $150 out there, and we won $150, and we're heroes, right? Come back down to a 2-unit bet, which is $100, right? We won that, right? Stacked it all up, right? And we had the miracle, right? We won the miracle bet, and we had all the money, right? At that series, when that series happened, we ended up here. We had $1,500. The rack was at 50, playing the replay game. We had $1,500 in the rack, which means I could have walked with the target. Could have walked with my target. I'm out here with $500. Good daily paycheck. Or, right, you could stay and play in that same session. You can go home, come back tomorrow with a new bankroll that's that size. Either way, with $1,500, our base bet was that. A quarter per purple. Our base bet was $75. And we did a 1-3-2-4 with the $75 sized base bet. We got lucky in that we had a split hand that split twice, and we won 2 of them. And then we had a double down and won the double down, right? Our next level was this. After that series of amazing wins, we got to 5 purples. Actually, we had this. We had 27, 25. Right? That was our bankroll, 27.25, which means our next bet is 125 was the base bet, right? 1 green per purple was the size, right? There's our next bet. That's how we did it, right? In here, I think at this level, if I remember correctly, we won the 1-3, but not the 2-4, and we stopped playing. And we left ourselves here, if I recall, because we had to go from because we had this. We had the one. We had 125 in arrears. We had 125 out here. We won 25. We pressed 125, and we lost that bet, which left us here, right? We had 250 up here. So that's how I tiered it up, right? When I'm playing, right, this is what I do at my local. When I say I had these good runs, I'm getting lucky in that I'm getting 4 in a row once or twice during the day. But how I level it up is this. And at little guy levels, right? When I buy, and sometimes I buy in for $100, right? when I'm buying in for $100, you figure that as 4 green chips, right? Right. My first bet is 1, right? So basically what I'm doing is this, I'm saying I've got $100, right? It's 1 red chip per 100. That's my bet size, right? And it's a 1 and I drop 3, right? And we win 3 and I drop down to 2 and I win 2, right? And then we win 4. When I get into here and I've turned 1 chip into 2 more quarters, right? There's $25 twice. Now I've got $150 in the rack, right? Plus the extra $10. When I get to here, I either walk with the $50 and play with 10, or I'll say to myself, I've got $150, which means my next bet level is 10, and I'll do a 1, 3, 2, 4 from a $10 level. I'll burn the $50 chasing that, but I won't leave with less than this. I think tiering up your bets on these 50-50 kind of games, it's all about bet leveling. The whole thing comes down to bet leveling. It is about luck. It's about catching a run, but it's about when the run happens for you. You have 2 triggers, walk or increase by some level or percentage of where you are. And that's exactly how we do it, right? That same methodology that you just saw there in Blackjack, again, it was a random game. You can't count on that thing winning or losing, right? In real shoes, right? You get that kind of variance, but not where you lose every bet in the shoe and then win every bet in the shoe like a computer game sometimes does to you. The computer games, I think, help you kind of witness and be ready for that kind of stuff when it happens. But I think that the lesson about tiering is important. And that's kind of where I wanted to leave today, which is this idea of playing into variance and using your bankroll as the hammer that it can be when you get a series of wins. So that's it. That's the blackjack. That's the blackjack talk. I may do it again tomorrow. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing some blackjack tomorrow. We'll see. Tom says, nice leverage. What an RNG, right? The RNG is, again, we're working through it. I've got, I've built some RNGs in the past they're complicated. They're hard to build. They're hard to get right. And what you have to do is kind of randomize the field before you randomize the number and pick a random thing in the field. And what you do is you have dual RNGs going. You have an RNG that regenerates the field on a rotating basis, and random number generate into the field to pick a random one. So it's kind of like 3 levers that you're pulling at once is the way to do it. It's kind of how the casinos do it, but it's expensive in terms of computing power and memory. So it's hard to do that. We have the ability to do it in the app, so we're going to take advantage of it, and it'll be a better RNG later on. But yeah, it's not easy to win in blackjack, right? You've got to catch a run and stop. There are times where I've taken the $100 down to $10 or $15, worked it back to $110, and I'm like, fuck, I'm out of here. Like, if you can come back from being down $90 to win 10, you've won a lot. Maybe that's your time to run away. You got it? Oh, Louie, you love this. I got to show you all this. This thing is fantastic. These things are great. The box. This is like $10. I got my son this for Christmas last year. My son and my daughter. These things are you put money into this thing, right? Like a $10 bill, and you cross off the 10. Right? You see the numbers. You cross off the numbers as you get them. If you cross off all the numbers, this thing holds $10,000. Right? So it's basically, or 10, you put quarters in there, but yeah, you put money in there, and there's 200, 500, whatever. So if you get these like nice casino wins, drop them into here and forget about it. This thing holds 10 grand if you get it all filled up. Those things are great. I got them for all the kids last year. That's so cool that you noticed that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Doug Bress, hard to beat a standard ladder, right? On rung, I love the rung 2 or 3. You know, I tell you that all the time. I say if I'm going to start a ladder, we'll start in the middle. Maybe tomorrow we'll do blackjack with that. We'll start at like a $100 bet tomorrow. I'll lower the table minimum to 25, and maybe we'll start at 100 or 75 and work our way up and down from there. And we'll play a straight up ladder, no banging the winds, just going to go up and down by 1. Maybe that's tomorrow's show. Good idea. That's a good idea. All right. Let's boogie out of here for the day. Just a couple of things to remember. Now, this is not a quote, but I'm going to teach on this a little bit here. The Super Mario effect. Does anybody raise your hand? It's only like a handful of people. If you've ever heard of the Super Mario effect, anybody ever heard of this? I'll give you a minute to say yes or no in chat. The Super Mario effect. This is the way that we teach. We teach programming this way, and a lot of teachers now teach young kids this way. So raise your hand to say yes or no if you've heard of this before. And the kind of the mantra of it is practice and perfect, not stress and regret. And if you think about the game Super Mario Brothers, right? We've all played the game. I'm sure everybody here has played Super Mario Brothers. Remember when you played it at the arcade and it cost you $0.25 and you played the game and you lost your quarter? If you didn't win, you lost your quarter. You put another quarter and you got to keep, right? You paid money to play. You only had 3 lives or sometimes 5 if you're at the right arcade, right? 3 or 5 lives. That was it, right? What did you do in those games? Like, what did you do when you had money on the line, when you played Mario Brothers, right? You stressed out, number one, but you sought out every possibility to get more lives, right? When you got a quarter in, right? What you tried for, give me all the coins. Let me know where all the special stuff that you jump on is that gives you a bonus life or makes you the Fireball Mario, whatever it was, right? You did everything you could to make that quarter last forever because it was a quarter, it was actual money that you got from your mom, right? Those people never got good at the game, right? They've done all these studies and they replicated this, right? Those people who played that way never got good at Mario, never got good at Stargate, my favorite game, right? You just, or, Stargate? I can't remember the name of the game. Yeah, Stargate. Anyway, you never got good at those games because you were so stressed out. All you did was try and find ways to get more lives or play carefully so you didn't lose your quarter, right? Those guys could play for a while, but never got good. When you went home and played Mario on your Nintendo in your house, how was it different for you? You remember how it was different? You can play forever. Didn't matter if you died, right? You regenerated, you hit the reset button, you start the game over, nothing, no money changed hands, right? People who, in that respect, would search around to try and find stuff. That's how you found the secret entries. That's how you learn how to beat the bosses. You might try and beat the boss 100 times. It didn't matter if you kept dying. You kept on trying until you got good. The people who have no fear of loss got really good with their fingers, right? They got really good at moving fast and jumping and all that kind of shit, right? So we learned that by giving people a safety net in computer programming, you can try you can't break this computer. You can try all the ways. Your code may suck. But you can't break anything, right? Nothing bad can happen to you as you're learning. Kids learning how to build stuff, right? In like wood shop, they do this now too, right? They try where they can't get hurt and they can't make anything stupid enough until they get good at it, right? Think about this in your life, but think about it in gambling, right? When you're learning how to play with money at risk, you're going to play a different way than if you're learning how to play without money at risk. This is why I say play video games. Play Blackjack on the app. Play craps at your home table. Do live fantasy craps. Do things to practice where you can't get hurt and you can stretch the boundaries and try stuff out and learn where you can push, where the walls are you can push on in the games, right? That's the way you get better at stuff. All this fake stuff that people say, oh, you guys are playing for fake money all the time. Yes, we are. This is how you get better. When you learn where the extremities are, or you learn where the boundaries are in these games. That's why this is important to do the way that we do it here. Tomorrow, I'll pull the Blackjack game up and we'll lose 15 in a row. Most likely. That's the way it works. But unless you see it, feel it, try it, and to be able to hit the reset button without money changing hands, you don't learn how those patterns feel. Very, very important stuff. So that's the Mario effect. We're going to talk about this again all week long. And I'll leave you with the final reminder of this. The raffle items are still there, right? I'm not going to close the raffle till we get to the limits. Somebody is going to win a felt from Gargoyle. They're worth, $3,000 to $5,000 for a $50 raffle ticket. The Absinthe Show, Heavy's Power Craps, right? That's where the Access Power Craps seminars are worth $2,000, right? $50 raffle ticket. Go to crapsforthecure.com. All the money still goes to the puppies. We're still putting money into them. We're still buying dog food and doctor visits for the dogs, right? This campaign will never end. I'd like to get these things out and start at zero for a third dog, but let's get these guys paid for. All right. You guys have a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, God bless y'all and love you. Bye.